September 17, 1862, over 23,000 men were killed, wounded, or missing in a single day. These rare photos capture not just a battle, but the staggering human cost of America's bloodiest day. Burying the dead on the battlefield, Union soldiers bury fallen Confederates in shallow graves. The sheer number of bodies forced hasty burials, leaving behind a haunting image of war's aftermath and the unimaginable human toll of Antietam. Confederate dead gathered for burial near Dunker Church. Confederate bodies lie in rows near the Dunker Church, awaiting burial. Once proud soldiers, now reduced to silence, reminding us that death was the one fate shared equally by both sides. Confederate artillerymen near Dunker Church artillery crews once thundered here, unleashing devastation. Now their own bodies rest beside silent cannons. The image captures the cruel symmetry of war, where destroyers and destroyed meet the same end. Dead by the Hagerstown Pike Fence. A simple farm fence became a line of death. Confederate soldiers, cut down in volleys, lie where they fell, their stillness contrasting with the chaos that raged along the pike. Ditch used as rifle pit, filled with dead. This shallow trench was meant to shield Confederate defenders. Instead, it became their grave. The photo captures the futility of war, where cover offered no escape from relentless Union fire. Thury de Tulstrup painting of Antietam. Unlike photographs, this painting shows the chaos in motion: smoke, bayonets, and swirling lines of men. It conveys the furious energy of Antietam that no still image could fully hold. A lonely grave. A solitary grave stands in a quiet field. Unlike mass burials, it reflects the individuality of loss. One soldier, one life, one family left forever scarred by this battle. Bloody Lane, bodies in the lane. The sunken road became a trench of death, later named Bloody Lane. Confederates held it until Union fire piled bodies shoulder to shoulder, creating one of the war's most haunting images. Confederate guns overlooking Burnside's Bridge. Confederate guns on the hill poured fire into Union ranks. From this position, defenders slaughtered hundreds, turning a narrow stone bridge into one of the deadliest crossings in American history. Burnside Bridge, Antietam Creek. This graceful stone bridge became a killing ground. For hours, Union soldiers tried to cross under heavy fire. When they finally succeeded, the creek beneath ran red with blood. Modern memorial view of Bloody Lane. Today, Bloody Lane looks peaceful, with green fields and quiet paths. But in 1862, it was filled with death and horror, a road forever scarred by the lives lost there. Miller Farm aftermath. The Miller Farm was drenched in blood. After the fight, bodies lay scattered across its fields, while survivors dug hurried graves. A once ordinary farm became an unwilling witness to devastation. Confederate soldier in a ravine. A wounded soldier dragged himself into a ravine, seeking shelter, but died there alone. His body tells the silent story of countless men who perished struggling to survive. Irish Brigade fallen. The Irish Brigade fought bravely, but this image shows their terrible cost. Their lifeless bodies on the battlefield capture the sacrifice of immigrants who gave everything for their adopted nation. Contrast of Federal buried, rebels unburied. Here, Union dead are buried while Confederate bodies remain exposed. The photo shows not just loss, but the harsh divisions that persisted, even in death, between friend and foe. Lincoln and McClellan, October 3, 1862. Lincoln meets McClellan days after Antietam. Behind the calm faces lies tension. Lincoln urged pursuit of the retreating enemy, while McClellan hesitated. Leadership here was as critical as combat. Lincoln and Generals at Antietam. Lincoln stands with his generals in a solemn portrait. These men carried the weight of war's decisions, choices that meant life or death for tens of thousands on the field. Graves at Burnside Bridge, rows of crude wooden markers show where Union soldiers were buried after the bloody fight for Burnside Bridge. Each marker represents a life cut short in a few violent hours. Battlefield panorama. A wide view of Antietam shows empty fields after battle. The silence is deceptive. Just days earlier, these fields thundered with cannon fire and echoed with cries of the dying. Smith's Barn, used as a hospital. Smith's Barn became a makeshift hospital where surgeons worked endlessly. Cries of agony filled its walls as wounded men endured amputations and desperate attempts to cling to life. Confederate colonel and horse killed. A Confederate colonel and his horse lay dead together. The image shows the shared fate of man and beast, both swept up in the merciless violence of the battlefield. Reserve artillery near McClellan's HQ. Union. Reserve artillery stood ready near McClellan's headquarters. Though quiet in the photo, these guns remind us of the enormous firepower poised for use, even as men died in droves. Signal Tower on Elk Mountain. From this tower, Union signalmen directed the flow of battle. High above the fighting, they relayed orders that shaped the struggle below, proving that war was fought with eyes as well as guns. Painting, Taking of the Bridge. This illustration shows Union troops storming Burnside's bridge. Under withering fire, men fell by the dozens, but wave after wave pressed forward until the crossing was finally secured. Painting, Battle of Antietam, Meshi CG HB. This dramatic painting captures Antietam's chaos, smoke, clash, and confusion. While photos froze aftermath, artists used brushstrokes to recreate the fury and energy of battle as it unfolded. Ambulance Corps gathering the dead. The Ambulance Corps combed the battlefield, collecting bodies for burial. Their grim task reminds us that even when the fighting ended, the labor of death and mourning had only begun. Alan Pinkerton on horseback. Alan Pinkerton, famed detective and Union spy master, appears on horseback near Antietam. His presence highlights how the Civil War was fought not only with armies, but also with intelligence and secrecy. Bursting shell in a cellar. This photo reveals the impact of war on civilian life. A shell crashed into a cellar, shattering the safety of home. At Antietam, no place, not even houses, was spared. General McClellan on the battlefield. General McClellan stands amid the Antietam battlefield. Admired by his troops but cautious in command, he missed the chance for a decisive victory, a hesitation that haunted Lincoln deeply. General Burnside at Antietam. Artwork, General Burnside, remembered for the costly bridge assault, is immortalized here. His determined face reflects the burden of command, the courage of leadership, and the tragic price of decisions. Antietam was the bloodiest single day in American history. Over 23,000 lives lost in less than 24 hours. These images show more than strategy or victory. They reveal the faces, sacrifices, and suffering of a nation divided. May we remember not just the numbers, but the people and the heavy price of war.